unmute there.
Well, Brady, are you going to answer that question?
Hear me?
Brady, do you have a question
Brady,
for Russell?
I think you have the answer to that question.
The answer to the question is I'm going to, but I have not yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
Thanks for asking, Russell.
Yeah, I figured I might as well ask you the questions today.
Thank you. Am I up now? Is that how this works?
Yeah, you're up.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was not ready for a question, so this is my best audible here. But Russell, how do you get your offense back on track?
Well, I don't think we're crazy off track. I just think that we have to do a couple things. We have to be a little bit sharper, stay on schedule. I think we've had a few sacks here and there. We got back on track the 2 games before. We felt like, even the Eagles game where we felt like we really could have scored a bunch of points, where we had those two touchdown opportunities plus the one that got called back. And so that changes it. I think they played a better game than us last week. I can't, after watching the film, they just played a really good game. They had a really good game plan, and they did a pretty good job doing it. And we adjusted later on, a little too late, we felt like, and that's really all it was. So I think for us, just keep believing. We got 4 games to go. We got this one this week. It's a championship opportunity for us, and we're really looking forward to just playing really good football.
The center quarterback exchange issues that you had, is that just a matter of just kind of trying to get dropped back too early, or what happened on those?
It was a new play for us. We kind of had it in, and I think, Post is going hard left, and I was trying to go out of there and everything else. So it just we just missed it. So I think that it won't happen again.
AJ.
Hey Russ, so one of the things that Shadi sort of talked about a little bit earlier today is that it's almost like maybe correct me if this is the wrong phrasing, but it's almost like a relearning, because the way the offense was working the first 5 weeks or so, it was a lot of offensive, like explosive plays. And these last couple of weeks, this needed to be more of like smaller chunk plays to sort of get going. So is it fair to say that there's almost like a relearning of how to win each game and taking what each game gives you, as opposed to relying on some of that magic that you guys are used to?
I think I don't know if there's a relearning. I think everybody's a little like likes to be a little bit. I'm not saying you here. I'm just saying in general. I think just in sports in general, whenever you have a loss, everybody wants to have the answer. Whenever you have a win, everybody thinks they came up with the answer. And I think that's and that's not on you, AJ. I'm more so talking about just in general, like the thought process. Even in teams I've been on before. It's this isn't right. This isn't right. And I think it's us just playing really crisp football. Like, I think it's us being really sharp, us being detailed, execution, and us believing in who we are, what we've done in the past, and who we're going to be moving forward. And that's what I really look forward to. The thing I really look forward to, AJ, is that our defense is playing great football right now, and they have really stepped up their game. They got a lot of great players making so many great plays, from the defensive line to the linebackers or DBs, and that's huge for us to have a defense that's playing so great. And then for us offensively, we know who we are. We know where we're destined to play and how we can play. And I think Carlos over here offered me some food over here. But I think for us, it's just us really staying focused on one game at a time. Winning this game and trying to play a great football game. And the reality is, it's the NFL. Every week is tough. Every week is a challenge. Every week is a new opportunity. And we really look forward to the opportunity just of going back out there and playing this game that we all love.
Bob?
Yeah, Russell, everybody has sort of talked about needing to adjust more quickly last week. Pete said that, Shadi said that earlier when we talked to him, and you just sort of referred to that. What is the challenge in doing that in game? I mean, is it just not wanting to go away from your game plan and what you think is going to work too quickly? Or, when you see something like that, like what they were doing last week, and trying to adjust to that in game?
Yeah, I would say that you want to trust your game plan going into it, obviously, and it's the first half or whatever, and next thing you know, it's already the first half and the score's only, I think, 5-0 or whatever. So, and normally we've been, doing really efficient football and getting up and down the field, which the first drive we moved up and down the field. We didn't score, but, touchdown, but we moved the ball really well. Next drive, they made a couple plays, and next thing you know, the game kind of slowed down. And I think also for their offense, too, they really wanted to slow the game down drastically. So, next thing you know, the first half was over but before we even knew it. And so I think, it took us a little bit time of adjusting, and but I think that we're ready to roll this week, and every week is a new week, like I said, and I think we've been really, really good so far this year, and we want to continue to grow and continue to play great football moving forward.
Corbin?
Hey, Russ. There's been a couple games here recently where it seems like opponents, and this is kind of going with the adaptation thing, but it seems like opponents are playing a lot more of that two deep safety look. The Giants were sprinkling in some free cloud, and you guys have had a couple games where it's really been a struggle to get those explosive plays and maybe trying to force the issue a little bit. Moving forward, what has it been about those type of schemes that's been difficult for you guys? And do you think maybe there were just a lot of missed opportunities for the short passing game on Sunday?
Well, I think at first we had a lot of plays that were called deeper down the field, and then, in the second half, third, fourth quarter, we really started adjusting and, to what they were trying to do. And they know that we have, great receivers and guys who can really get down the field. So their objective was to slow the game down. And I think every team plays it different, right? And so that was their plan that week. So I think for us, is now that we experienced that, we did that. We had kind of saw that, I think last year or 2 years ago when we played Minnesota. I can't remember which year it was, but I've played Minnesota so many times. But I know they tried to do that one time, but then we rushed. We ended up adjusting and we went rushing for a bunch of yards and doing some cool things. I think, also too, I think getting our guys all healthy and everybody playing and everybody in there, that really helps our team too as well. So it's a mixture of a few things. And I think ultimately, honestly, we just didn't play great, as a collective group, and I think that we can always play better.
Masvita?
Hey, Russell, you're not one for personal awards, but just being nominated for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award, I mean, what does that mean to you, just in terms of what you're doing to be recognized for that?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool award. Obviously, my dad, my grandfather, they used to talk about Walter Payton all the time. They showed me so much footage, and I feel like I feel like my dad had so many reels of footage of Walter Payton back in the day. But, I think for me, it's a blessing because when I came here to Seattle, I remember flying out here, and I think it was May 10th or so of 2012, and I got out here, and my whole thought process on my heart was, I want to make a difference. One, I want to start. I want to play. I want to have a long career and, win multiple Super Bowls and hopefully go to the Hall of Fame and do all that stuff, was my thought process my rookie year and before I even hopped on the plane here. But the other part was I really wanted to make an impact on the city, and I really wanted to be able to make a difference in the community. And, I've always loved children. I've always, my mom was a ER nurse, she'd been a nurse. My dad, unfortunately, was in hospitals all the time. And so, I want to make an impact, at Seattle Children's. I knew there was a great Seattle Children's Hospital here. And that was kind of where it kind of really all started for me, really, in Seattle in particular, was just really dedicating my heart, my time, my love just for other people. And I think more than anything else is I don't think people understand how much that's done for me. I've had a lot of great weeks, a lot of great games, a lot of great moments, and had some tough ones along the way, too. And that always brings me peace, going there. It always brings me just so much joy, and even in difficult times, to be able to pray for families and people and kids, and vice versa, even. And I just think that it's been so many unique moments I can't even describe or explain to you guys. How much God has just truly blessed me with the opportunity to give back and to love and to serve. And somebody asked me, today actually on our production call, they asked me, did you think that you would be where you are today and everything else, and and I said to them honestly, I said, to be honest with you, I said, I've always believed I'd be a champion. I've never thought anything different than that, and that's always how I've always been. But I think the thing that I've gained the most is just a special community of people, and love for this city, and love for the young kids that are are in the Seattle Children's Hospital, and so many other people we've met. So I think about the money we've been on to raise with Why Not You Foundation for pediatric cancer, over $9 million plus to all the amazing things we've been able to do with I think obviously this year alone has been a really to be honest with you, horrific year in so many different ways. And so think about 2020, just the social injustice, what's gone on, and that's been going on for years. But I think also too with the food insecurity and just trying to help people with food, and so Sierra and I, we've been blessed, and I think much is given, much is required, and I think that the reality is that to be able to give back, to be able to serve, that's what makes this job so special. Because I get to do it every day with great players who also love to do it. I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other men of the year, kind of guys in the room, that we get to be around, and that inspires me as well. And so I think that for me, I'm just grateful that I get to do this every day. I get to love, I get to serve. I think that's what God's called me to do, and hopefully I get to lead along the way. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful obviously to be nominated for Man of the Year, and like I said, there's a lot of great guys that are nominated, and so it's just a blessing to be in the same category. I know my dad's smiling down, probably hanging out with Walter right now, talking about it, laughing, and hanging out, So, I'm definitely grateful for sure.
As an owner, how much are you paying attention to the Sounders being in the MLS?
Me and Sierra were fired up the other day. I mean, we were watching the game, just screaming out, and they were down, obviously, down 1-0, and then it was 2-0, and then so we were making sure, man, we were just, come on, something great's gonna happen, and made it 2-1, and then next thing you know, 2-2 right in the last 89th minute there, and then overtime, extra minutes, we score, we were fired up for sure. So, hopefully we can win this this cup here coming up.
Tim?
Russ, I think you guys had 43 passes and you only had 15 runs from your running backs last week. As the game is going on, can you feel or sense when the balance is off like that, or do you just look down at the stat sheet after the game and go, "Wow, we had this sort of imbalance today"?
I think you can kind of. I think you kind of feel it. I think I think that we. You can kind of feel it in the game, yeah, for sure. I think, obviously you want to get Chris Carson touches. I mean, this guy's one of the best running backs in the game. He can do so many things. Carlos has been great for us. I think the balance is tough because you got also DK Metcalf out there. You got Tyler Lockett out there. So there's so many guys that can make plays, and so you want to be able to diversify the football in tons of ways. And so, I think for us is, each game, like I said, has its own history, and hopefully we find a way to be great this game coming up.
John Boyle?
Yeah, you talked about the defense earlier and the improvement they've made. You obviously practiced against Jamal. You saw him in training camp when you were ones-on-ones all the time. What has he brought to this team? Not just, the sacks and the plays we see, but the energy.
Yeah, I think that guys like Jamal, guys like Bobby, KJ, they're as good as it gets in this league. And I think what Jamal, really brought to the game, to us was just his energy, like you mentioned, his passion for the game, his knowledge. You can see how fast his mind processes information, how much he loves to study the game, how much he's passionate about the other teammates that he's around, and how much he really loves the process of it all. So I think for him, he really loves winning. He's a winner by nature. He's been a great friend, and I've really enjoyed my time getting to know him. And being around them. We were around each other at some Pro Bowls and stuff like that, and been around each other and seeing each other. But to be on the same team together is a real gift. And just watching him play, it's one of those things you got to get up out your seat and watch him, because he's going to do something special. I think guys like him, guys like Bobby, they're defensive player type of year, award type winners, And so to have two guys like that making those kind of plays they're making consistently, like they have ever since they've walked on the field, I think that's all they know, And they're just great teammates. But I think Jamal has been an amazing addition to our football team for sure.
Michael Sean?
Hey, Russ, of all the things you've accomplished in your life, what's the thing your dad would be most happy about that you've done?
Oh, man. I have to name probably a few here, Mike. But I think marriage, me and C, and the love that we have, but also our kids, having kids, and I think he'd be proud about. I think my dad would be proud about me being a stepdad and just a stepfather, just loving Future the way that I love him, and then you think about Sienna and Wynn, and just the gift that it is to have children. He always told me, "Oh, son, you're gonna be a great dad one day. You're gonna be a great dad." So I would say that's one of them for sure. I think also too is just. I think he'd be pretty dang proud about this Walter Payton Award. He loves some Walter Payton now, so I think that that would be definitely one of the things on his checklist, and that he would be. I know he's smiling, like I said earlier, and talking about. And I think the other thing would just be that, son. He always tell me, son, you're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You know, you're doing it. You're doing it. You know, and so I think that he'd be telling me that right now. You know, right in the middle of it, really excited about where we're going, where we're headed, and just he always spoke life, you know, into every situation, you know, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Curtis.
Yeah, Russell, when a game like last week happens, or the game specifically, what kind of eats at you most when you look back to last week's game and the game that just kind of goes off the rails for you guys offensively and doesn't click together?
Yeah, the thing that I would say that we don't get to play the next day. That's the thing, you know. You wish you could play the next day, the next morning, you know. I think that's really, like I said earlier, this game is a challenging game. It's not easy to do it, you know. You got to, you know, do it every week. I try to do it every week. It's such a challenge. There's good teams across the league, and I don't think we played our best football. But I think the greatest thing about this game is that you get to do it together. You get to love this game together. You get to go through the process together. It's a journey. I always tell you guys that it's a journey. There's ebbs and flows of a season. There's ebbs and flows of life, and those who can sustain and you know, just stay true and just stay consistent along the way in terms of their mentality, the ones are going to be more successful. So you know, for me, I wish we could play the next morning.
Joe.
Bob asked my question, so I'll pass to the next person. But Russ, congrats on the Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you, man.
Ben.
Hey, Russ, what's it like having Rashad Penny back out there practicing, and how's he looked so far?
He's been electric out at practice. I mean, just watching him run, he looks like Penny again. He's been really great. You know, he's physical, quick, catches the ball well. He picks up his protections. I'm excited for him. He's worked really hard for this and to get back out there and practice and do everything. I'm not sure his status and all that and what the deal is, but I don't even know how that all works. But just he's been looking unbelievable out there.
And then also, how would you assess your play so far in the second half of the season, and what do you think you can be doing to kind of make the job of, you know, getting back to your flow on offense? What do you feel like you can do to make it easier for everyone else, the offensive line, the whole continuity of the scheme and all that?
Well, I think everything's married together. I think everything kind of goes together, but I do think that, you know, we had a little, you know, a couple games there that the ball wasn't going our way, kind of thing, you know, in close games and stuff like that. What's up, Wags? But you know, so I think obviously being crisp there, we had, you know, obviously the Arizona game here at home and the Eagles game, we felt like we were rolling again. You know, unfortunately, you know, the last game, you know, the ball hit the ground on that one, and then you know, the ball didn't go our way on the other one. So, you know, that's part of the process, I guess. But I think that the thing that I know that I can do, and I know that I'm doing right now, is just confidence, man, just believing. I never doubt. You know, that's the thing about me. I never have no fear. You know, I think that's just who I am. You know, that's who we are as a team, and just keep believing. You know, I think that you know, I know who I am as a player. I know who we are as a team. I know where we can go, and that's just the confidence you got to have running through your veins. I think at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you shoot. Great three-point shooters shoot it, and sometimes it doesn't go in. And that doesn't mean Steph Curry stopped shooting, you know. So I'm going to keep shooting, that's for sure.
Thank you. And last one for Russell. Greg.
Russ, what is Chris Carson having a full load running behind you? What's that do for you during a game? How's that help?
Well, I think it's fun to watch just how explosive he is running the ball, how he attacks, you know, downhill. I think what it does is it obviously helps the play action game some too as well. You know, I think that's been a big thing, you know, obviously because they got to come up and stop Chris Carson. That's a big deal, you know, and I think that really helps us with the play action game, getting some of those shots and all that, and really mixing, you know, a run and a pass and all the different things that we want to do. So I think also too what Chris does is he finds the end zone. He's one of the best scorers in the game. You know, we want to get him in the end zone. So that's always a great thing. And then, like I said earlier, you know, the great thing is we got guys like DK Metcalf who have great nose for the end zone, and Tyler Lockett has been a special for us. You know, so we got a lot of guys who know how to score. You know, David Moore scored, you know, 2 weeks ago. You know, so there's a lot of guys who know how to get into the end zone, which is going to be key for us down the stretch here. And Chris is one of those answers for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I got to run. I'll see you guys. Go Hawks.